it's Theresa from Eisenbarth Art Studio, and I'm here today to start a new segment for midweek called Inside the Studio. Hi, Heather.
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah, it's all good. Can you
Oh,
hear
good. You got a very pretty scarf on.
Oh, thanks, scarf. It's my survive the cold weather scarf.
I know. Isn't it nasty out? I look outside of the studio and it's like the sun is shining, but it is terrible. Like it's so nasty out. I wanted to thank you for coming on to be my first guinea pig for the Inside the Studio. And a new segment series, I thought midweek that can break up the week for all of us, especially during the cold weather. And also because I thought it would be interesting to actually see what other studios artists have set up and how they work. I think other people would find that interesting too. And hopefully we'll all share a few things about what we're working on and what we're doing.
Yeah, no, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I just want to get you to introduce yourself and say where you're from and how many years you've been painting and what you've kind of like, what your genre is. Just kind of give a brief introduction about yourself.
Sure. So I am Heather Kinahan. I am based out of Calgary, Alberta. And I started painting in September of 2015. I was teaching at the time as a contractor and was tired of working all the time. So I decided to take a painting class. And here we are in 2021, and I'm a full-time artist now. I work in acrylics. I do mostly colorful landscapes. I paint all the things I enjoy. That's basically what happens. I also do some textured work, and so I carve in and sculpt in extra heavy gel medium and then paint on top of that. But mostly it's all colorful things that I find joy in.
Well, and that's the important part. You definitely have to enjoy painting. Why do it, right?
Yeah, because you're totally right. You have to. There's enough bumps along the way that if you didn't enjoy it, then why are you doing it? So
sure. So what is your studio setup like in your house?
Yeah. So
can you give us a tour?
Yeah, I will give you a tour, and I'll warn everybody that it is all of 5 by 6 feet, and generous when I measured it. So I'll just detach you from here. I have you in my light, and I'll flip you around. All right, and then I'll back up so you can see. So I'm in the basement. What's nice about it is that it is a walkout, and so I do have some nice windows there. And I have a window over there. It also doubles as the room that my kids come down to watch TV and play Wii games or PlayStation or whatever it is we have. The piano is down here. And then here is my little, I have to back up so I can get it in there, my little 5 by 6 studio. So I have, one thing I do love about my studio is my chair. And although I don't always sit and paint, those days that I do want to sit, it is so comfy. The other thing I love is my easel. I did spend money on a nice easel, so it goes up and down there.
Oh, nice.
And then to make the best use of my little 5 by 6, I have all sorts of things tucked here. So a bin of random supplies. And then I have my paints in different bins. So the first bin you see there is gray. It has all my blues and purples.
Right.
The red bin is whatever paints I'm using on my current project.
Okay.
And then I have a little trolley that has various things.
Yeah.
And right beside me, I have to walk around so I can actually. So I do have a nice couch for when I need a nap. I used to get naps in before my husband worked from home as well. He always seems to catch me now, so then I don't nap as much as I used to.
Good for you.
Pre-COVID. And then I have a little like shelf there that the bottom actually is a little sewing machine stand that was my grandma's.
Yeah.
And so it hides things.
Yeah.
But then I have all my supplies just tucked in that little shelf there, and my brushes. on the wall, I have a rolled up golden paint chart, which I love using. I wish I had wall space to spread it out because it's great trying to find a color. And then here's my mess. I'll show you my mess. There's like packing materials and canvases waiting. And then all my like hanging hardware tucked there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just, around the room I have like different
your art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the big blue one a lot of times. Yeah,
nice.
It's my leftover paint palette. So over time, anytime I had blue, I was adding to it. And now I will paint something on top of it. So
okay, good way to use that on your palette.
Yeah, and I use lots of blues, and when they're starting to get sticky, I find they work great just to throw on your next canvas. So it's all prepped, and I really quite like how it looks just prepped, and so I've been scared.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. So when you're painting and you've got paint on your palette, do you squeeze out fresh paints every day to work with, or do you use like one of those stay wet palettes or something like that, or how do you keep
I'll show you. So here's my palette that I was working on just before our call here.
Yeah.
So I'm on a series of little poppies.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is I spray it with my, beauty control water mister that is, I don't know how many years old.
Right.
Recycled. And then, so I spray it and then I just cover it with saran wrap.
And it stays.
And it stays, yeah. I can use that palette for a week. But
wow. See, I never thought to do that. So do you use, like, on the bottom part, do you use, like, the palette sheets then?
Yeah.
Okay, so if some of you don't know what the palette sheets are, they come in a pad of like 20 sheets, and you can rip them off. Heather's showing it. And then they're kind of like a glossy, slick surface for you to put your paints on. So instead of a Stay Wet palette, that's a great way to do it. I use a Stay Wet palette, but I find I'm not very good at keeping things up. So I find like you have to put the water actually in the palette for everything to stay wet. Not so great at that, but anyways, I'm learning as I go along. But I find I can keep my paints in that for about a week, and then I have to either redo the top layer. And of course, it's a marketing thing. They have their special sheets that go in the Stay Wet palette. So
yeah, I find the key too is to put out big puddles of paint to begin with as well. If you are being stingy and scroogey on how much paint you put out, it isn't going to last that week either.
Yeah, right. Oh, for sure. So what sort of colors are your favorites? I know you paint with a lot of blue and turquoise.
Yeah, I would say the blues and purple, like usually purple as well in my paintings. Sure, but yeah, and it just depends on what it is. If it's a mountain scene, the mountains tend to be purple, and yeah, I love bold bright color. So and then do you have a favorite like product per se, like use golden over Liquitex, or do you use so almost exclusively I use golden, except for, and I'll flip it around here. This is my favorite red, and it's from Liquitex. And
what's it called?
Oh, well, I'm going to butcher the name.
Quinacridone.
Yeah, red orange.
Oh,
it is beautiful. And so it adds that really true kind of dark red to things. And well, of course, it's a kind of a transparent color. I add it to my CAD red just to like give it some oomph. And but it's always out, as you could see. And then I find it hard to actually locate in stores sometimes. So I might hoard it a little bit when I do find it.
Right. So that's probably similar to, I really like the CAD Red Light from Golden.
Yeah, see, it's darker than that.
Oh, and then I have this one too. And you can't buy this anymore. It's Rose Red. by Stevenson, and it's a true cherry red.
Yeah.
Like darker than a cad red medium. I was so disappointed because Stevenson has so many great colors that I love to use, like at least 4.
Yes.
And I haven't been able to replace.
That is my favorite of Stevenson.
What's that?
It's this one. Oops. Oh, that's me. So maybe. Turn around, Heather. The phthalo turquoise.
Oh, cool. Yes.
That was my favorite from them.
I know. And it's disappointing if anybody knows. Stevenson was a Canadian company and they recently closed down last year. So, but I mean, it was nice to support a Canadian made company that I think the only other one, well, there's a few of them, but the other one that I purchase a lot from is TriArt.
Mm-hmm.
And I love some of their colors too.
Yeah, they have a really nice orange that I often use as my base coat. Yeah.
Is that the transparent orange?
Let's see. I don't believe so. Of course, it's not at hand here, but yeah, no, it wasn't the one that I had commented on your post the other day. It was a different name.
Oh, okay. All right. So I wanted to ask you, do you have a special tool that you use in the studio that, you know, just through happenstance that you love to use all the time, like either when you're carving out your gel or when you're painting? And if you could kind of show everyone and then say how you use it maybe.
Yeah, so there's 2 things that I use all the time. So this is my favorite palette knife right here. And I use it, and it's never clean, for mixing paint, but as well as like etching into that gel paste for sure. It just seems to be the right, where is it there? The right width. It has the nice point on it. So,
and is that a metal tool as opposed to plastic?
Yes, it is metal. I tried plastic one time. It was nasty. It just doesn't, I don't know. I even have a nice little callus on my hand from where I hold that palette knife.
Very cool.
Yeah, I work hard, you know.
So when you're carving out in the gel,
Yes.
Is that wet? Like, do you mean when that's wet, you're drawing into it and then it dries, or?
It is. So it's a race against time. So I spread it out into the areas that I want it. And then I use that palette knife, and the other one that I like to use is a long, tall, skinny guy.
Right.
Yeah, this one here, I'll lay it out on. Let's see where something that you can actually see it against is. So here's, actually, I pulled out one of my owls. So there it is. Just
Okay.
Just work to like make some really nice fine lines.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're carving it, and then it dries, and then you see that it's clear, but then you get all of the texture in the surface of the painting.
Yeah. So I pulled one out so you can kind of see.
Wow.
All the little, like, there are thousands of little markings that get put in.
Oh, that must take you forever.
Actually, because it dries so fast, you have to work fast.
Yeah.
So, carving in all the little details takes less than adding the paint.
Oh, really? Oh, so and it looks amazing, like the 3D dimensional look that you can get with the product, and just those tools are great.
Yeah, it's neat, but once it's stuck. So then,
then
it's
for sure
creative painting. That's for sure.
So you do primarily owls, or you do other animals too? I think I've only seen owls from you.
Yeah, I've done bears, and I've done little birds,
right,
and an elephant, and I have an elephant drawn up here on the wall to get to at some point. You know what? The owls are so popular that anytime I am doing the textured work, it's usually a commission.
Oh.
Because there's just, like, I hyper focus on it, hey, because you're looking at all those details.
Yeah.
I can't do it all the time or I'd be blind. Like, it's,
My daughter loves owls. I'll have to get you to commission one for my daughter for her birthday this year. She'll love that, because I mean, owls they kind of have that mysticism around. Like I'm not sure why people, maybe it's with the big eyes looking at you, I'm not sure. It's just they kind of have an aura about them that people are just attracted to.
Yeah, and I think here living in Alberta, we get to see them, hey?
Yes, true.
Which makes them dear to us as well. So
yeah. So I wanted to ask you, I know in my painting journey, I've had a few aha moments, I guess, in creativity, or when I'm working specifically on a project. I'm just wondering, what was your creative moment, like your inspiration or aha moment, like something that maybe you had read or you had watched, and you didn't really know how to apply, but then it just kind of clicked. Like, do you have something like that you can talk about?
Yeah, I think so. My first aha moment was when I started painting, and I have a brain that never shuts up, except it goes quiet when I'm painting. And so just the love of painting and actually having something that quieted my brain to begin with. But then what I soon discovered, it was the first thing I'd ever taken up that my kids actually left me alone to do. So I'd be painting and they're like, oh, mom's busy, I gotta go ask dad. And I'd be sitting there thinking, why didn't I, start painting years ago? Because by that time they were already 11, 13, 15. So that's kind of the aha moments in that got me, serious about
right. Yeah.
And then creatively, I think once I love experimenting with color, and just being able to do that all the time and taking those moments, all those things I love, and transferring it to canvas like that. I think that's it. It's like capturing those moments that you want to spend more time in.
Well, and it's a joy. Then it's a joy, right? Like, it's something that you can really reflect on, I find. I mean, I'm not sure, but I'm just kind of translating what you're saying. But I know for me, there's lots of times in the studio when you're focusing on something, and I often will paint in silence, and people go, paint in silence? And you know what? Before you know it, 3 hours goes by, and it's like, huh. Like, I look at the clock. I finally did put a clock on my wall in the studio, but you look at the clock and it's so meditative. It can be frustrating. It can be meditative. Depends what you're working on.
Yeah, and just even like moving paint around.
Yeah.
Like, some people don't like mixing paint, but honestly, I could mix my palette every day because I love mixing.
Oh.
I never get to the canvas. I'd have all these beautiful palettes ready for people.
Yes. That's funny.
If that was a job.
Yes, if that was a job. Yes, wouldn't we all love that? Well, when you start on a blank, I've been working on some of these little ones, which we've talked about, because painting small is actually quite difficult to make it look like something, because your stroke has to be so precise. Like, you have to, like, you notice everything, I find, when you paint small, right? So but it is meditative. Paint these and paint them different colors, but I'm boring, I guess. I paint them all the same color. Now I might paint some blue and maybe a little bit purple, and start more with a darker tone surface than kind of like a red or an orange surface. So
yeah, I tried yellow for the first time the other day. Yeah, that was interesting, especially because I like to paint with so many blues, hey? Because then it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But it turned out okay.
Did it? You didn't. So in the rule of painting, when I started, they said, you should always tone your surface with like a medium balance. So if people are wondering out there why artists choose like orange or red, because on the value scale from 1 to 10, it kind of falls in the middle. So to move that value scale then when you first start is actually quite challenging once you get used to that. Would you agree with that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was a challenge that someone put out, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, there's I love watching you on Instagram, and if people are following and you know, if they wanted to follow you, you've got such a lot of great ideas and great videos, and you're a way better poster and stuff on Instagram than I am. Like, I'm always following Heather, sending Heather messages. She is so great. Oh, she is so good at Instagram.
I really quite love Instagram, and the people I've met through Instagram, it's been fabulous. Like, yeah, especially right now. It's an easy, like, yeah, it's a different world. And so Instagram, I've met some great people and made some great connections through Instagram. So
yeah, I agree. And I've only been on Instagram for the first little while. So, and if I just wanted to speak about, like, how I met Heather. So Heather's an artist in Calgary, and I'm in Medicine Hat. And with COVID, none of us have been going anywhere. And I actually met Heather through a program called Leveling Up. And the program is a mentorship program for artists, whether or not you're a beginner or you're an emerging artist. I think Heather and I consider ourselves to be emerging artists. And it's a great opportunity to work with a master painter. And so that's how Heather and I first met. And now we chat on the phone and we text back and forth. And when you're inside your studio all the time, it is very isolating. So to have something like this, to be able to do this live through Instagram, or to have the Leveling Up connection where you're talking the same language with people, is been very, very valuable, I think, to me. And I'm not sure how you feel about it, but to me, it's been a lifesaver this winter.
I know. I joke with my husband that this, like, meeting all of you through Leveling Up has probably saved our marriage just a little bit, because I had him to talk to. And he just doesn't get as excited about, you know, the fun art things that I get excited about. It's like, oh yeah, that's nice, honey. I'm like, oh, this is exciting.
He doesn't get excited about what value you're using on your palette or your canvas to first start, or what colors you're mixing.
No, or that my reel, you know, of mixing paint. He's like, yeah, I don't know about you.
Well, it's been, so if anybody you are interested and you want to join the group, there is a monthly subscription payment for Leveling Up, but it's, you know, if you're even if you're an art hobbyist, it's something that you would find beneficial to be able to learn. I know in Medicine Hat, I always complain that we're the forgotten corner, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just in Southern Alberta, there's not a lot of opportunity to network with other artists that are maybe going through the same things that you're going through. So it's been, for me, it's been great. And technology is fantastic too. So now we can't wait to get together and all have a glass of wine and paint together. Maybe when things are lifted and we can actually safely get together again. So
it'll be so much fun. We'll have so many grand adventures, Theresa.
I know. Well, hopefully lifelong friendship, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, working with the masters is awesome and all that learning, but connection with people in the same situation as you're in,
right?
Like, that to me has been so worth it.
Yeah, pretty invaluable, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, okay, well, I think we're going to wrap it up for this week. And again, thank you, Heather. So it's Heather Kinahan from Calgary. She's a Calgary artist, famous emerging artist in Calgary. So check her out on Instagram. I believe you have a Facebook page too. Mm-hmm. So check her out, and I'm going to line up someone for next week and do another interview. And thanks for sharing your studio. Sometimes it can be a little humbling to share your space that you work, but I'm amazed like that your area, how much you can produce, and that's just a proven record that you can produce art anywhere, even on your kitchen table.
Exactly. Yeah, because I do not have a big space, and I can produce, and I can put it out there and share with the world. So
exactly. So anyways, well, thanks for doing this, and thanks for being my guinea pig this week, and sharing your lovely home and your space and all your artwork and ideas.
Yeah, no, it was great. Thanks so much.
Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in. See you next week. Bye.